Mural 5. Colony, New God and Resistance. With the Spanish, not only did battles of liberation and submission arrive, but they also brought new beliefs, customs, hierarchies, agronomy, vices, and of course, architecture. They forced them to demolish their gods and even their foundations, teocallis. They then built their houses and churches with the collapsed stones, sometimes on the very foundations. However, the natives carved symbols into the stones, so that when they worshipped in the Catholic temple, they were actually worshipping their gods and symbols. But with evangelization, all of this diminished until it disappeared. Various religious orders, such as the Franciscans, Augustinians, Jesuits, and Dominicans, arrived here on various errands. Don Juan de Palafox y Mendoza, called the Saint, Bishop of Puebla, Archbishop of Mexico, and 18th Viceroy of New Spain, also took refuge there due to persecution by the clergy, hiding in houses and temples. Since the construction work was very heavy and the patience of the Spaniards very little, the African slaves rebelled and escaped, destroying everything in their path, taking as their leader an old man from Angola, also a fugitive, called Yanga, who they met along the way, taking refuge in the mountains, living off nature and eventually assaulting the roads, for which the government sent 600 men to mitigate the attacks of the group of the Black Yanga together with Francisco de la Matosa, who after several attempts without being able to put them out, they themselves decided to retreat to the Matlaquihuitl mountains, where they resisted but in the end negotiated, in exchange for having a priest and a judge to govern them. However, the agreements were not fulfilled and the acts of looting returned to the roads of Veracruz, thus giving rise to the idea of founding a population that would serve as a containment. It was then that several Spaniards, including Don Diego Fernández de Córdoba, Marquis of Guadalcazar, requested permission from the reigning Philip III to found the town of Córdoba. It was inaugurated in 1618, with 30 families originally from Huatusco as its first inhabitants. Later, Córdoba and Huatusco disputed the right to become the mayor's office, and in 1788, intendancies were established, leaving Huatusco as a province of Córdoba, belonging to Veracruz. However, in Huatusco, the flag of revolution was raised when a cowboy from Tlamatolca named Jacinto Roque attempted to rebel with a handful of men, surprising the Spanish guard at dawn. He retreated to Córdoba, fearing a new attack. Jacinto remained in charge of the territory, leading a pro-independence movement, and faced disputes with several insurgent leaders, including Julian Ángel, who treacherously surprised Jacinto one morning, captured him, and shot him the next day. Julian, thirsty for power, used the revolution as a pretext, and such was his madness that he went so far as to order the execution of a corpse and several innocent people. He soon paid an eye for an eye, as another insurgent leader, Don Antonio Barcina, came to Huatusco, gained the trust of Julian's men, managed to remove him and shoot him, remaining in charge and reinforcing the troops, which made the Spanish nervous, sending a large troop from Córdoba, under the command of the royalist Captain Maza. Barcina coming out to the pass in the Jamapa ravine, under a fierce battle, the insurgents being repulsed, fleeing to the mountains, Maza retaking Huatusqueño territory, punishing the population with heavy taxes and hard labor.